move your body up and down.
Welcome to the final video of our Ultimate Consent Toolkit. The purpose of this toolkit was to bring awareness to sexual assault. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So our first video of this series talked about consent and defined it and applied it in relationships. The second video looked at rape culture and defined it and talked about its perpetuation due to lack of consent. And now this third video brings attention to the history of Denim Day and its relationship to consent and rape culture. Please know that the content of this video is very sensitive and may be triggering for some. As I said last time, take care of yourself. We believe survivors, we stand by survivors, and we support you in your healing. So what is Denim Day? Denim Day is a campaign that takes place in April in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The campaign began after an Italian Supreme Court changed their ruling. They overturned a rape conviction, arguing that because the survivor was wearing skinny jeans, tight jeans, she must have helped remove them, which to these justices implied consent. So the next day, the women of the Italian parliament all wore jeans to stand in solidarity for the survivor. The Denim Day case happened in 1992 in Italy. The reality is that this case does and still happen everywhere. And that's why PACT still talks about it, and we use it to introduce and teach respectful sexuality. Respectful sexuality is honoring ourselves as well as our partners. It's having full knowledge of the risks and the consequences involved when engaging in sexual behaviors and choosing sexual behaviors that respect both parties involved. Communication and consent are essential. Let's look at the Denim Day case through the lens of respectful sexuality. So we have a 42-year-old driving instructor. We have an 18-year-old driving student. Knowing the dynamics there, it's already unequal footing. The power is given to somebody in authority versus the student. So when we're looking at this, it's not equal. There's not a mutual respect. To me, it sounds like the teacher would violate all sorts of boundaries and trust for this student. So that first piece, just to get started on age, doesn't seem like it's respectful sexuality. Another big factor in this case is that the student is wearing skinny jeans. Consent cannot be implied. You cannot assume somebody wants to have sex with you, even if she did take her pants off. If she decided to get her driving lesson sitting in her underwear, that is not an open invitation to have sex with her. This is why communication is essential. Consent is essential. It has to be freely given. It has to be, yes, I want to do this, and it has to be very specific along the way. So taking off your skinny jeans doesn't mean that you want to take your underwear off too. So again, looking at this lens of respectful sexuality, there's not a whole lot that aligns with that definition. And let's stay with the skinny jeans and the removal of the skinny jeans for a minute. Let's say she did willingly take them off. Consent is reversible. If she wanted to change her mind, or she took her pants off and didn't want to take her underwear off, you're entitled to change your mind, and you're entitled to say no, and you're entitled to have your boundaries respected at that point. So the view of respectful sexuality, again, you have to be respecting one another's boundaries. Another factor of consent is that it's informed. And to be informed, you have to have a conversation. And the conversation around informed consent in terms of sexual behavior is talking about, birth control. Are you using condoms? Are you at risk for STDs? What happens if there's a pregnancy? in this case, what happens with these boundaries being crossed? What are the consequences of your actions? So it's important with respectful sexuality to be talking about these things. So we're coming to the situation both on the same page and in complete agreement. When we say yes to something, we're saying yes to something specific. Do you want to go to a party with me? Yes, that means I'm going to the party with you. That doesn't mean I'm going to be drinking with you. That doesn't mean I'm going to be making out with people with you. That doesn't mean, it means yes, I'm going to the party with you. So applying the same principle in the Denim Day case, we don't know if consent was given every step of the way. She might have said, yes, I'll take my pants off, but that's it. And we don't know if the boundaries were violated or not. But when we're thinking of respectful sexuality, we have to be mindful of this. Getting consent every step of the way is going to keep both of you safe and comfortable and happy. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't there. I for sure don't have all the details of the case, but based on what I know as just a respectful human, I feel like I have more grounds arguing that this was not consensual versus their grounds for implied consent. I get super heated talking about this. I find it really ignorant when people can't get the concept of consent, and it's frustrating. It pains me when I have these conversations in workshops, and I get even more heated though when I talk to people outside of my workshops and I can hear their biases and their victim blaming, which is exactly why cases like this are still happening, which is why the perpetuation of rape culture is happening, and which is why we're having a hard time understanding what consent means and having respectful sexuality. This is also why 30 years later, we're still talking about this. We're still having campaigns to bring awareness to this social problem. I like to ask my participants at the end of workshops, when we're looking at sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape, do we find that things are getting better, things are staying the same, or things are getting worse? And, most of them, which I'm hopeful about, feel that their generation is more aware and their generation is more sensitive and their generation has more resources at their fingertips to kind of make a difference and make a change. So it's been 30 years, but I'm hopeful that we are taking strides in the right direction. So everyone, take a breath. This workshop series is over. This is, like I said in the beginning, very sensitive, very triggering, and it's exhausting to keep talking about, but I know it's so important. If you want to process a little bit further, please reach out to me. We can debrief one-on-one and talk through some things. In the meantime, we're very grateful for you watching. We hope you enjoyed our toolkit, and we encourage you to find us on TikTok, where we have also lots of great content.